Let's go back to the beginning of the season. You're injured on opening day. So is Melia, Polito, Kinda, Rosero. So many players unavailable. The season then starts off rocky, right? You get 2 draws, 2 losses, 1 goal scored in the first 4 weeks, which leads to the 10 winless games. Let's start on a personal level. What was your emotion like and the feeling like unable to help this team kind of get out of that spell?
Yeah, that one sucked. That was the last preseason game we had, and it was literally the last minute we were making. Preseason, you make your bunch of substitutions. It was the last minute before we all came off, so it was the last game, the last
Unbelievable.
sort of tune up right before season, and it was probably a ball that I didn't really have to go for, but it's not really my makeup,
No, it's not. No.
and I just completely overstretched, and I done it at quite a lot of force, and my hamstring I just felt it immediately just go, and I knew right there how it was bad as well. You know that feeling, you know what it's like yourself. You get that feeling, you know that it's going to be a bad one, and then for about a week, I couldn't walk on it. It was that bad. So that one was a tough one to take because I had put a lot of work into the off season and pre season, and I felt in great shape. I knew that we were missing some players as well, so I knew it was going to be sort of big start to the season for me. Because we'd missed, like the guys you said, we knew we were missing them. They were going to be out for an extended period of time. So I kind of put that pressure on myself to be there, and then to obviously not, and then miss. I think I missed the first 4 games as well. That was tough. I don't like being in a helpless position where I feel like I can't affect things, which I missed 3 games there as well. You're just sitting on the sidelines, you're watching from up top.
It's brutal. It's
It's,
torture.
it's the worst. It really is the worst part. Like a Friday, watching all the guys get ready for the game, and then the game day, it sucks.
I don't think people fully understand driving to the stadium when you know you're not playing because you're injured.
Yeah,
It's literally purgatory. You're
yeah.
literally
It's
like,
it's it's a
I don't
lonely
want to be
drive.
here, but I have to be here. But you're like,
Yeah,
no, I don't really want to be there, which is interesting because when I look at those 10 winless games, naturally you and I are talking about the injuries, but secondly, there's got to be frustration. Yet the team had 3 red cards in those 10 games, and then just 4 goals were scored in that, and so I look at that team, Johnny, and I see a bunch of veteran leadership, experience, guys that know how to take care of their bodies, how to go about their business, and yet it all seems like to be unraveling inside that locker room. Was it anger? Was it frustration? Was it sadness? What was it?
I mean there was probably all of that at different periods. The frustration was, I mean, even when I got back, we perform all week in training. We do the same things we've always done. We prepare properly for games. We're set up going into games, and then whatever reason it is, we get into the game and just nothing goes. Obviously, confidence has got a huge factor in that. When you're in that situation, things consistently are just going against you, not going well. It's hard to bring a team out of that, which is obviously the main part of my job during that time. And I've spoke about that before. There's definitely things I've learned from that I could have been better, I should have been better. I've definitely learned from that experience. But yeah, like the anger of not winning games, constantly losing games at that time, seen as basically one of the worst teams in league history, is the way it was going. So I mean, there's so many things that go into it, and I'll go back to the professional pride thing. That's probably one of the things that turned it. When we spoke, I said that I'm not going to be remembered as being a part of one of the worst teams in this league. It's just not going to happen.
The other thing, though, that changed it is you were there. I wasn't, but I read in the local papers about this meeting at the Illig Ranch.
Yeah,
And I know and have been part of teams where you've just got to lay out you just got to air your dirty laundry. You got to do it in a manner, in a safe space, I should say.
yeah,
What
yeah.
happened that day that changed it?
So that was a sort of combination of Mike and Peter. So I'd spoke to Mike. He'd spoke to a couple of other sort of veteran guys at the time. So me, Roger, as you say, Tim, spoke to those guys just to see basically what was going on. We spoke a lot. Spoke a lot to Peter as well. And one of the things that came of it is they wanted us to spend a bit of time together, away from the game, just us, no one else, nothing else in our surroundings. Just it was just us and the staff who worked there, and it was a. I mean, I think it showed. I'm not just putting it down to just that, but it was definitely the first steps in turning it around, because something had to be done. You could see being in the facility, being around the guys, that just something wasn't there. We were missing something. We were missing what what makes your team. We didn't have it at that moment, and that definitely helped.
Did you leave the ranch going, hang on a minute, I think we got this now?
I think after we spoke, so we were probably up until 3, 4 in the morning. They've got a big fire pit there, which is where the fire pit dance comes from.
Yep.
That was Gaddy Kinder that started that. I'll never forget, it was hilarious. But we must have sat there for 3, 4 hours talking. It was sort of usual to begin with. Me talking, a couple of the older guys talking. But it was actually Kendall McIntosh said, like, everyone should everyone should speak. We were trying to get to that point, but I didn't want to be forceful. But he was like, no, everyone should speak, and I agreed. No matter how big or how small you thought your role was in the team, whether if you were someone like me, captain of the team, Zusi, Roger, who's been here for so long, or first year pro, rookie, like, speak, you're a part of this team. We're all trying to get to the same place. We all want to be part of something successful. So everyone spoke, and there was a lot of things said that had to be said, and probably only would have been said in that environment as well.
Yep.
So helps. Some people who are a bit shy had maybe had a couple of beers as well. But I mean, you know what it's like. Sometimes
You
you
have
just
to
need
do it.
that
You
for
have to
people
do
to
it.
come out their shell,
Yep.
and it was hugely beneficial, and especially for me as well. I learned a lot about guys. Some guys spoke about things going on in the field or going on in the facility, or ways that we can be better as a team. Guys spoke about their personal lives or growing up. So there was just so many things that were spoken about, so many things you learned about your teammates that you didn't know. And I think it definitely brought us together. You know, you just get that feeling after something where you're like, oh, there's definitely something here. And then obviously the stories that come from that, you joke about it for days after. And that led into the Seattle game, which is
Yep.
obviously where we pick up our first win, and such a hard place to go, for a travelling team. It's a difficult place to go and pick up points, and we managed to go and get the win there.
You scored 2 goals in 30 minutes. The team does at Seattle. There had to be a gut feeling of, oh my goodness, we unlocked this misery. It's gone. It's going to be gone. Now we're going to ride this wave as long as we can. Is that fair?
It was fair because I think we showed everything in that game as well. We showed how good we can be on the ball and cutting through teams to get the goals. But then you're going to come under pressure there as well, especially when you're leading games. Their crowd get them behind them, and they're just attacking you constantly. And we just showed that we can fight it out as well. It wasn't pretty towards the end, but we done everything we could to get that result. So I think it showed so many different aspects of our game, and that one was huge. That was probably throughout what we've done the season, even making the playoffs. I think that one for me, getting that first victory, just shoulders being able to relax,
Yes.
getting that off your back. That was probably for me the most important one.